I'm Mark Adams, and welcome to episode 25 of Marksmess podcast. We're with my daughters Charlotte and Catherine.
Catherine is Charlotte. Charlotte and Catherine is Charlotte.
We look at the world of geekery using the alphabet as our guide. This month it is the letter U.
Me.
No, you.
Yeah, me.
No, you.
Me.
The letter U.
Me. No, it's me. No, it's me. Me.
If you would like to contact us, you can by email at
mymarksmess@gmail.com.
on Twitter.
At Marksmess podcast without the T.
Webpage is marksmesspodcasts.blogspot.com, and on Facebook page
Marksmess podcasts.
last month's Sullivans put it onto our Facebook page.
Woo!
Something very nice. And first of all, they knew we were coming up with the letter U.
Hello. Me.
Oh, would you stop that? And first of all, they made a suggestion. Darren suggested Jerry Anderson's UFO. Now, Jerry
What's
Anderson, we know him from what series, Charlotte?
I don't know.
The Thunderbirds.
Okay.
He developed the Thunderbirds, the puppet Marionation, and there were several other series. One of them was a live-action one called UFO. So it was real people, but with the models of the spaceships and all. It was quite good, but I only remember a few of them, so I don't really able to talk about UFO. Then they sent us this.
T is for terrific. Oh, yeah. And that describes this lovely episode of Marksmess podcasts. It features Ron Randall's Trekker, a fun way to travel, and Triffids, which I've learned are dangerous and to be avoided. Good tip. It was great to hear your take on Ron Randall's art and stories, and now that his Kickstarter was successful, we can all look forward to the next Trekker book, Chapeltown. It was great to hear Mr. Peabody and Sherman's Way Back machine discussed in the time travel section. Thanks for the kind words and energy about TrekkerTalk.com and Rad Adventures Network. P.S. and a show about sandwiches would be fun.
And we may get a show about sandwiches sooner than you. Well, sooner than I'd hope. Anyway, thank you very much to both Ruth and Darren. They're good supporters, and who knows, we might be seeing more of them soon.
Dun.
Anyway,
Wait, what?
and also, we did mention last month about Ron Randall's Trekker, who of course is talked about on
TrekkerTalk.com.
a lot, and of course we did tell you about the Kickstarter, and they exceeded the Kickstarter, and it was very successful. A Kickstarter is if you exceeded, they went beyond what they expected. Ooh. Also, in other news, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has started back in the UK.
You have to say it in like a news report voice. In other news, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has started back in the UK.
How you find the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Charlotte? Catherine isn't interested, but Charlotte is.
Good.
Okay, so spoilers. Let's not spoil it.
It's probably not spoilers for them. Most people listen to it, and they're in America, and they've watched like the umpteenth episode. We're only on the 4th.
I think the 5th one is tonight.
Yeah. Oh, I can stay up to watch it, can I? Please.
Well, it's on at 9 o'clock.
I don't care, please.
And it's going to be 9 o'clock.
School night, please.
We have to finish this.
Please. She's so stressed that she's squishing her bottle.
Right, well, we will see how well you do in this podcast. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., this is the 5th series. What has been your favourite bit so far, not counting this series?
Did I watch the first series?
You did. I
watched all of them.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Who's your favourite character?
Daisy,
who was also called...
I also like Jamma.
So the girls.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Papa girl pair.
I do like Agent Coulson.
Is that the cartoon one?
No.
Oh. I like the cartoon one better. Spider-Man? No. I like the cartoon one better.
Okay.
Didn't say I like it, said I like it better.
Anyway, it is good. I think it's got better over the years. The first year, I loved it. The second year, third year, last year got a lot better. They had 2 storylines.
Oh, yay.
And
what were they again?
That was the Ghost Rider.
Oh, yeah, and then the programming.
Yeah, the basically going into yes.
Ooh.
But it was the Heal Hydra world. And
where Hydra run one instead of
Yeah. And that came up in the comics. There was I actually got on Comixology the graphic novel of Secret Empire, where Captain America is a Hydra sleeper agent.
What's a sleeper agent?
A sleeper agent is like a secret agent who hides in the country and pretends to be a normal person until they're told you activate now and become, subversive and go against the country you're in.
Is that like one of the ones who works for two places and then goes like, ha, but I was a spy for another one and beat that?
That's a double agent. So all types of different agents. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was good. We also had a family, once a month we try and have a family movie night. And we try, quite often we do one of their movies, but I decided this month to do something that was when I was a teenager, and it was Crocodile Dundee from 1984. 32 years. I loved it back then. And what did you two think?
Back then.
Boring, no storyline.
And the storyline.
Boring.
About a guy who went to New York and then went on a train and then didn't go on the train.
I have to agree with you. It hasn't worn well. The storyline is very slow. I still think it's funny. I still think, no, that's a knife.
Yeah, I like that.
You like that?
The only bit that has any interest.
What about the crocodile bit?
What crocodile?
Where the crocodile attacked your woman?
No, it's boring. Because you kind of like expected it.
What about the bit where he figured out how to use a bidet?
What?
A bidet? A bidet?
Birthday?
The two toilets in the room?
Okay.
You don't even know what a bidet is?
No.
Okay. Let's move on quickly before this podcast gets an explicit. What we're going to watch next time?
Thor Ragnarok.
No,
we can't.
The Greatest Showman.
Yes, the great.
You two.
Or Paddington 2.
Paddington 2. Okay. Have you been reading anything apart from Warrior Cats that has been interesting?
I finished reading the Hunger Games series again.
Oh, how did you find it the second time round?
Good, because it still surprised me. And I was just kept on reading to find this certain bit, and then
Right, I couldn't do that. I remember it too well. What about you, Catherine? No, you've just been reading Warrior Cats, but you did get a different type of Warrior Cats book.
Yeah. It's one of the manga comic thingy-majiggers. Have we talked?
Did we talk about it last time?
I don't know. Wait, what was the last?
If we talked about it last time, I'm sorry, but we're going to talk about it.
You can hear it again.
Yay.
Right. What's it like compared to the book?
It's like, it's not the same story, but it's kind of like, basically one cat left, and then it said, like, he got took away, and then he came back in, like, the book series, but then it says about his journey getting back.
Oh, so it's like additions to the book series. And are you going to get any more?
Yeah.
Both my daughters are now into comics. I like this. I like this. We are going to be covering the letter U.
Me!
Oh, good
Me!
It's going to be a long episode if we do all that. I've got out my Marvel encyclopedia on the letter U. There are 4 pages. And some of these characters I have never met, but just to tell you about a few of them, best U villains would be the UFOs, which are basically, what?
What's our villain group? What about the evilest there is? No, let's go with UFO! Yeah!
It sounds like a UFO.
Yeah, it does.
UFO!
Right, so it's 4 members who tried to recreate the Fantastic Four's powers, but they did it with evil intentions.
What about the evil 4 instead of the UFOs?
There is a frightful 4 already.
He looks like Spider-Man. Is he Spider-Man?
That's Spider-Man. That's a picture of them attacking Spider-Man.
Oh,
the big guy, the strong guy is called Ironclad.
They have numbers on them.
No, they've got numbers to tell you who they are.
Oh, no.
There's Vector,
he's got sun
X-Ray, and Vapor as well.
He's got a sun tattoo.
That would be X-Ray, because he can produce X-rays.
No, it's Vector.
Vector.
Ooh, we'll get killed by X-rays.
Okay. Other ones, let us go. There's ones like Unicorn, who is a really naff power.
What is it?
It's basically shoots beams from his head.
Yeah.
But
So he doesn't put rainbows or jelly beans?
Oh.
one of my favourite British superheroes is Union Jack. Look at his outfit.
He looks a bit like Deadpool or something.
Well, it's the whole
Spider-Man.
body outfit. But
I want to say, how'd you go for a pee in that?
very carefully.
A onesie. It's a onesie.
Do they have, like, you know, those olden days? Do they have the flap at the back or something?
I can't believe that's the bit you're worried about. He is
How would it breathe?
traditionally...
It's breathable.
It's a breathable mask.
Maybe it's like transparent. No, transparent. You know where things can like, I don't know, like you can like smell through it, so it's like nothing's there, but something is. I don't know what I'm talking about.
We noticed. We noticed. But
Basically, like, I don't know what it's called. I can't remember.
Like a
Never
book.
mind.
Is it a book?
But he...
A book.
A book.
He Union Jack is Lord James Falsworth, who fought in the First World War in a group of warriors who have forgotten what they were called, and Freedom's 5. And in the Second World War, his son took over the mantle, and his daughter became Spitfire.
Wait, isn't the mantle like something in the earth, like under the crust?
There's that as well.
Yeah, we learned
the
about that in
mantelpiece.
geography. I
And the
know
mantelpiece.
Okay, so those are two of my favourite. Charlotte, do you know any villains with a U name?
Ultron.
Yes, Ultron is probably not one of my favourite Avenger villains.
I know one. UFOs.
It's literally like, let's name ourselves the evilest of them all. Let's name ourselves UFOs.
That sounds like some sort of like little kids, like you know when toddlers go like like couple of friends go like, oh, we should have a group name UFOs. Wait, no, wait. I think that's it upstairs.
Right, I'm going to close this book because this is getting sillier with you two, and sillier. What we'll do, we'll take a break so you two can calm down, and when we're back, we'll cover 2 topics that are that we need to talk about for your education. So
Bye.
see you in a minute or two.
In late 1984, Marvel's direct sales manager said in a crowded meeting of comic retailers, let's be honest, Secret Wars was crap, right? But did it sell? The room exploded with applause. Well, get ready for Secret Wars Series 2.
Beginning in 2018, Pulp to Pixel's Marvel's superhero Secret Wars and Beyond will do the unthinkable, Secret Wars 2. We'll take a detailed look at the event, the tie-ins, the new characters, and we will attempt to answer one of the largest questions in the history of the Marvel Universe. What the heck was Jim Shooter thinking? No, seriously, what was Jim Shooter thinking? Well, you can find out at the Pulp to Pixel podcast network, where you can subscribe to all of our amazing shows, or just to Secret Wars and Beyond itself, as it is now in its own omnipotent feed. Secret Wars 2 and Beyond, a Pulp to Pixel podcast production.
You'll believe an omnipotent being can use the restroom.
Hi, I'm John Wilson,
And I'm Michael Kaiser.
and we're the hosts of the podcast Make Ours Marvel. You know, here we are in 2018, 10 years into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, can you believe we live in a world where everyone's old Aunt Petunia knows who Iron Man is?
It's crazy, right?
So, to celebrate, we're on a mission to explore the roots of the Marvel Universe.
You know you've thought about it. Some of you may have even done it, and now we're going to do it too.
We're diving back into the long boxes of Marvel's history and podcasting our way through the whole universe.
All of it. Every superhero issue. And, if I can convince Mike, we'll even do Sergeant Fury.
And it's not going to be one issue per episode. That'd take forever.
It's still going to take forever.
But no, we're going to talk about as many comics as we can in an hour.
Yep, an hour and, maybe a little change. Every week, Marvel Comics. So it'd be super cool if you came along for the ride.
Look for us every Friday at makeoursmarvel.com.
That's makeoursmarvel.com or on iTunes and all the other usual podcasty places.
And if you want to read along with us and send us your thoughts, we might even read emails.
So until Avengers Infinity War gets a spin-off Warlock in the Infinity Watch TV show,
Make ours Marvel.
And we're back.
Okay, we're going to look at 2 U's. First one is one of my favourite comics when I first started reading comics. Okay, it's the Uncanny X-Men. Yes, now I have to think of something else for X. But Uncanny X-Men has been criticised for being hard to get into because it's very story-heavy, almost like a soap opera. If you start watching a soap opera and you don't know any of the characters or the backstory, it can be quite hard.
Is that a soap opera, like opera singing?
EastEnders.
EastEnders would be a soap opera.
Oh, I thought it was opera
Coronation.
singing.
No.
Coronation Street. I don't know any else.
And I got into the X-Men round about the 200s, and I started collecting then. And I also started collecting X-Men Classic, which was way back in the early 100s, maybe 100 issues beforehand.
Oh, I thought you were talking about you.
So did I.
In the year 100.
Thousands, not hundreds.
Okay. The X-Men was a comic book that started in 1963, about the same time the Avengers started. Yeah. And it was a team of teenagers who were in a school, and it was okay.
Why did they form the group?
Professor X taught them because they were all mutants.
I know, but why didn't they just stay in school? Why did they form the group?
Well, the school was a group.
So, like, the Ninja Turtle thing.
It was superhero school.
Superhero school. Well, it wasn't superhero school. It was school with a superhero curriculum.
Is a
mutant is somebody who's
like
born
like
with a super,
turtle.
with a, in the comics is born with a superpower. Into a run, it started to get a bit dull, and people weren't reading it, and eventually they just started reprinting old issues. So it wasn't until 1975 when Len Wein and Dave Cochran they restarted the X-Men by bringing in an international team, and this is the team they brought in. So this is a picture from Giant Size X-Men #1. Do you recognize any people here?
That's Wolverine.
Wolverine.
That's Storm.
Storm.
That's Beastie Thing.
That is Nightcrawler.
That's Professor X.
That is.
That's
Oh.
Creepy Dude.
That's Thunderbird.
Thunderbird.
Wait, I know what one of them's called.
What?
Reed Richards.
No.
Oh.
That's
the guy who looks like Wolverine.
No, that's Colossus, who turns into steel armoured. That is Banshee from Ireland, from Donegal, one county over.
Donegal.
And Sunfire, who is from Japan. Now, these three at the back had appeared in
How
comics
come there's
before.
only one woman in it?
That's that interesting question. That is a good question, and well done. Eventually, about 100 issues later, it would be more women than men in the comic. And that was a big change in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Huge change in that. This became the status quo. Chris Claremont started writing, and he became one of the longest writers on the comic. And he kept threatening to leave every now and again. And the editor would say, "But Chris, you had this thread of a story running. Why don't you finish that?" And Chris, he had to have to stay and finish that, but he'd keep having these threads of stories. There were ones that were never even completed, like who Nightcrawler's parents were in his time. It was somebody else who eventually did it.
Why is it that, like, whenever you have the men in, like, full bodysuits and the women in hardly anything?
That is a very good question, and that is basically sexism. And well done in spotting that. It's, I love it now where you have heroes like Ms. Marvel, who are covered head to toe, because that's what you do. You would not go fighting crime in high heels and a mini skirt and...
Especially if it's, like, winter.
Yes.
Or Northern Ireland when it's raining.
Yes, but I
You have
mean...
to have an umbrella hat.
Storm can create a weather system around her because she controls weather. But I hate that. I did not like the Wonder Woman movie, the fact that she had to fight crime, fight the Germans.
In high heels.
Yes, which is very easily resolved. You know, get her not to do that. Does Supergirl fight in high heels?
No, hers are boots, but
Yeah.
they're, like, above the knee and a really, really, really short skirt.
Yeah.
But she's covered from head to toe.
Yeah,
Well,
tights.
neck to-
Yeah.
You know, in school, in like
Are you going to tell me that in PE you wear something like Storm wears?
No, you know, in PE and stuff, you have to wear like a skirt. Why don't you just wear shorts?
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's to make you look more feminine.
Surely the long hair, the
not all people
waft
have
of impulse. I don't know,
But-
and the
but
screechy voice and going around going, hee.
The like t-shirt things have like collars.
Yeah.
It's basically to make sure, to make you look different from the boys.
But we have shorts as well.
Shorts are for gymnastics, so your skirt doesn't get caught in the kit.
Or ripped.
Yeah, or ripped.
Or like over your head so you can't see and you go like, ah!
Well, Catherine, count yourself lucky. You know the old photos around the school?
No.
Some of them, the hockey girls wore pinafores.
How
Like,
would
below the knee pinafores.
How would you play hockey in a pinafore?
And a blouse. So count yourself lucky.
Yeah.
How would you play hockey in a pinafore?
I don't know, but why are you asking me?
That's a good question.
But here's the thing. In the 90s, there was a huge thing where artists would draw women with impossibly long legs, longer, almost twice as long as the bodies. Chest areas, shall we say, that were massive and would probably knock their eyes out if they were running. And things like that. And there were impossible figures for
Basically,
women.
Like the people that, the like, figures that women nowadays get surgeries to be. Like,
Yeah, I'm probably in those days as well. Anyway, back to the Uncanny X-Men. It was issue 129 that got really interesting for me because they brought in a new character, in fact, 2 new characters. The same month, She-Hulk first appeared in a different comic, but John Byrne was the artist. And Chris Claremont was still the writer. And guess what character came out? It's a character you're named after.
I don't know. Catherine!
Kitty Pryde, Catherine Pryde, a 13-year-old girl with the power to phase through, and they turned back
Wait,
into
does that
a
mean
school.
that happened to me when I'm 13?
Let's hope. And it turned back into a school. Instead of these adults running about, they had at least one student who had to be taught. And then a few years later, the New Mutants came along, which was a second X-Men book of all students. And then they had Excalibur, X-Factor, a Wolverine book. It became very complicated, but such a great storyline. I have all the comics from Giant Size X-Men, #1, up until about 200. So if you want to read them, they're there to read. It's real up in the loft. Really good, well worth reading. So Uncanny X-Men, it's quite an important book in the 70s, 80s, and even early 90s. Nowadays, it's the Avengers who are the very popular books, because everyone's an Avenger now. But in those days, X-Men outsold Avengers and outsold everyone else, and quite often they were the best comic book.
because there was only like 5 Avengers.
No, the Avengers were hundreds of Avengers. There was Avengers West Coast, and Avengers Spotlight. 3 comics of it. Plus you had the Captain America comics, the Iron Man comics, Quasar, who I bought the first graphic novel of, and a whole dose more. The other you...
Me.
Well, the other you...
Me!
The other you is unread comic books.
Dun, dun, dun.
What does that mean?
They haven't
Unloved.
been read.
Yeah, the comics. I went round the house and picked up the collections of comics, the graphic novel type things that I have not completely finished yet. Shall we count how many?
You haven't finished my work.
There is Understanding Comics by
I read
Scott
a bit of
McCloud. Yeah, it's quite good. About sort of the art behind drawing comics. We have Avengers versus Thanos,
You've been
which
reading that for ages.
I have. I want to read it before the movie, the Infinity Gauntlet movie comes
I
out.
don't know what happens!
It'll be a different storyline. I have
Hooray!
Trekker Rites of Passage, which was sent to us quite kindly by Ruth and Darn, and I haven't got around to reading this one yet. I've read the other one. We have Doctor Who, The Forgotten, which I got in the charity shop, along with Doctor Who, The Only Good Dalek, which I got in the same charity shop. I have got
6.
The New Teen Titans Volume 1 with Marv Wolfman Perez.
7.
Showcase presents Blue Beetle.
These are probably like 50 because there's like all like little comics in
If the little comics
That
in it.
one's like the size of Harry Potter book.
Yeah, but they've taken out the colour.
Right.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, in the Warrior Cats ones, and there's no colour in them.
Yeah, that's
But they do like
style.
shade them with like dots and all.
Okay, we have Year Zero Part 1, which came with a magazine for £2, I think, in the shop,
Nice.
so I didn't get Part 2. That's a Batman one. We have George R.R. Martin's Mystery Knights, adapted by Ben Avery, who, in the Christmas podcast, he was
Santa!
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh.
Santa. Close. Sorry, Ben, I'll get around to it.
Was that number 9?
We have Judge Dredd, The Complete Case Files number 8.
10.
No, that's number 8 of the case files, but no, 10 of these. So there's 10 of these. I could go on. I've got single issue comics, which I got the last time I was at the comic book shop. I have got, pardon me. I have got graphic novels. I have on my tablet with Comixology, which include Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Spider-Woman. Yes?
So not
What?
Spider-Girl.
Spider-Woman.
What's the difference between a graphic novel and a comic thingy-majigger?
Well, you can have collections of comics, which is a comic collection, what basically these are. But a graphic novel is written specifically to be a big format book. It could be that size,
And also,
but it's not single issues inside.
what's the difference between a manga comic as well?
Manga is a style. It's usually a
Yeah.
Japanese style. It's a drawing style. Usually it's from Japan. It originated in Japan. I'm pretty sure most of them come from Japan. Now, you find some cartoons and TV will have the same style in that as well.
But most of them are anime. Like
It's that
Pokemon,
style.
like Pokemon.
A manga would be the comic version, and anime would be the animated version, as an animation. The question is it healthy to have loads of comics that I haven't read yet?
No!
Is it healthy for me to do that? Well, first of all, why wouldn't I have loads of comics I haven't read? Because I will always have something to read.
Yeah.
Right? I can look forward to reading that. I picked up the problem is I like reading them on my tablet because it's easy and I can carry them about. So I've read recently the Quasar, first collection of Quasar, which is about 6 to 8 of his comics. Loved that. And Secret Empire, which I thought was fantastic. That was on Comixology. They were selling collections for 69p. I know I had to sort of drag myself away from it. I could really have bought loads of them. But I think it's quite good. I think most people out there who are listening to this who have comics have got a stack of comics they haven't got round to reading yet. I've got other comics. I just realised that I would have gone round Comic-Con in Belfast, and people who have
When's the
their own
next
comics.
Comic-Con?
Do you know what? Probably before we record the next podcast. Do you want to go?
Yeah?
Will
Do you want to come?
Will there be like Warrior Cat stuff?
I don't know, but
It's
there'll be...
basically geeky stuff. There was a whole big Teddy aisle last time.
Yeah. It's a good fun.
You should come. Marksmess podcast day out.
Yes, we'll record while we're there.
No.
We'll interview people.
I don't know if I want to go or not.
Why
Do
not?
you know what? Last one I was at, I saw Barra Best there.
Who's that?
Who's Barra Best? He's the best weatherman in Northern
Sounds
Ireland.
like
He's the only weatherman.
He's not the only one. So we'll think about it, Catherine. It's good fun. It's worth
It's
going
not
to.
just comics. It's just stuff.
I mean, there'll be artists there actually doing the art, and you can talk to them. You can
So
say,
there-
"How do you do your eyes?" Because you're big into eyes now.
Even
Bring
so there'll
bring
be,
some
like,
of the art.
Random people.
There won't be random people who've booked tables and
No,
things
but,
like
like-
that.
Random things like Pokemon Go and stuff.
Yeah,
It's just anything really.
anything
Could be
geeky.
Warrior Cats. Adventure Time's quite a lot.
Yeah,
I've
this
watched it.
this is different from the one we've been to before. The company did the one we before. I've forgotten what the company is, but they've stopped doing them in Northern Ireland.
So
No,
still
no.
going to be an American candy stall.
Probably, but you use American candy stalls in. But there's one in the town next to us.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, that's maybe the next podcast will just be about Comic-Con. Are you tired? Shall we wrap this up? Okay. This has been Marksmess, brought to you by the letter U
Me!
of
Me.
Geekery. All characters
So
are
weird.
property of the owners, not us. You can contact us by email at
mymarksmess@gmail.com.
On Twitter,
At Marksmess Podcast without the T.
on our webpage at marksmesspodcasts.blogspot.com, and on our Facebook page.
Marksmess Podcasts.
Thanks to Josh Woodward of joshwoodward.com for the title music. And next time on an all-new episode of Marksmess Podcast, we might be doing the letter V, or we might be doing something else. We'll have to wait. You trying to work out if V is the next letter.
V is!
Yay!
Wait, what's after V?
V for Victor.
What's after V?
W.
Yes.
X, Y, Z. We're almost
Yes.
finished. We just got V, W, X, Y, Z.
What are we going to do after that?
Well, we'll have to figure that out. Okay. Anyway, folks, thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.